Hello and welcome to PrintBoss online training. We are going to show you how to set up your bank records in PrintBoss for ACH processing. Automatic Clearinghouse ACH is a nationwide electronic funds transfer, an EFT, system that provides for the interbank clearing of credit and debit transactions and for the exchange of information among participating financial institutions in the U.S. Direct paycheck deposits and debit card purchases are two examples of electronic fund transfers that go through this network. ACH file specifications are established by NACHA, the National Automated Clearinghouse Association. PrintBoss 5.65.1 and above contains a file with the standard NACHA specifications for use with PrintBoss. Company, also known as originator, specific data is stored on the ACH definition tab of the bank records in PrintBoss. Receiver, i.e. or vendor or employee, specific data can be stored in a Payee List in PrintBoss and is also associated with a bank record. The ACH file created by PrintBoss is compiled from data stored in the ACH definition section of the bank account record, a Payee List, and the check or EFT batch being processed. Complex scripting attached to the PrintBoss check form creates the file. A user will almost never need to edit the script. Instead, they will simply enter specific information for which will be used in the ACH file header record, the ACH company batch record, and the PrintBoss Payee List. The rest of the required information will come from the check or EFT batch as it is processed. The ACH definition tab is found on the Bank Edit screen of PrintBoss. Start by opening the PrintBoss program to the Master Application screen. Data is entered on this tab, which will be used to create the file header record fields and the company batch record fields for the ACH file according to NACHA operating rules and guidelines. PrintBoss version 6.01.1 includes a pre-fill ACH information button that can be used to pre-fill some of the file header and company batch fields. Note, there are a couple fields that you need to fill in, and we've highlighted them here in another color. We recommend you verify the data requirements with the financial institution, as some use different data in these fields. Once you have verified the information with your financial institution, return to this screen and modify the information in these fields if necessary. If there are blank fields, it means the information could not be found in your primary or MICR tabbed pages. You will enter the data manually. We will start with the file header record fields. Immediate destination, a 9-digit routing number for the ACH operator that will receive the file. On rare occasion, the routing number may be 10 characters. Contact Wellspring Software if the latter is true. Immediate origin, a 9-digit routing number for the ACH operator that will send the file. On rare occasion, the routing number may be 10 characters here. Again, contact Wellspring Software if the latter is true. Immediate destination name, the name of the ACH operator, bank, or receiving point that will receive the ACH file. Immediate origin name, the name of the ACH operator, bank, or sending point that is sending the file. This is typically your company name. File ID modifier, uppercase letter A through Z and or numeric 0 through 9 character is used in the ACH file header record to distinguish multiple files created on the same date and between the same participants. The default is A. Prenote override. This setting is a global override command that ignores the individual prenote settings in the Payee List records. The action should only be done once, when the ACH batch is first processed as a test. Remove the prenote checkmark once the bank indicates you are ready to use ACH to process payments. Next, we will look at the company batch record fields. Service class codes. The 4 codes below identify the general classification of dollar entries to be exchanged. They contain 3 characters. The choices are 200 mixed credits, 200 mixed debits, 220 credits only, 225 debits only, and 280 automated. Mixed credits or debits are only used when the bank requires a balanced file. Company name. Name of the vendor or payee. This is typically a truncated version of the immediate origin entry. The company name only holds 16 characters. Company discretionary data, an optional field. This field allows the company to include codes of significance only to them to enable specialized handling of all entries in the batch. There is no standardized interpretation for the value of this field. The field holds 20 characters and must be returned intact on any return entry. Standard entry class. This field holds various predefined character abbreviations representing standard descriptions. PrintBoss uses one of these two, a CCD, a corporate-to-corporate EFT, or a PPD, prearranged payment and deposit consumer. A CTX, corporate entry detailed record, and is only available as a customization to PrintBoss. Company entry description provides a description for the purpose of the transaction, for example, payroll, water bill, etc. Originating DFI identification, typically the first 8 digits of the bank routing number of the bank that will originate the ACH file. Note the balance file activation box. Select this column by checking the balance file activation box when the bank requires a balancing entry for the credits or debits listed in the detail section of the ACH file. The fields will then appear on the Balance Record tab of the ACH file editor. Routing and account numbers are comprised of the routing number and account number of the financial institution as they appear on the PrintBoss bank account record under the MICR tab. Account name is as it appears on the PrintBoss bank account record. We've finished with the company-specific data that is stored on the ACH definition tab of the bank records in PrintBoss. Receiver, example of vendor or employee, specific data can be stored in a payee list in PrintBoss, and it is also associated with the bank record. Payee list. A payee list is used to provide the required information about the recipient in an ACH transfer. Alternately, information fields may be assigned from data that is coming from the accounting system, but a payee list entry is still required for each payee. Note, you must create a payee list for this bank record before activating a payee list. Browse button. Select the folder Browse button to select the name of a previously created payee list, or click on Edit to select an existing payee list. We will describe how to create a payee list in using the Edit menu in just a moment. The last 3 fields on the ACH definition tab are the Active checkbox, the Add a Record dropdown, and the More Info button. Active. Select the Payee List checkbox to activate this feature. Add Record. Click on the Add Record drop-down menu to choose how to treat new records when there is no match for the payee name in the current list. The choices are, number 1, create empty record in the list, creates an empty record with only the doc recipient name from the check batch. The record will not be active in the payee list. Number 2, ignore payee. And number 3, alert with option to add or ignore. More info. Click this button to view a list of fields that must be assigned from data printed from the accounting software or entered in the payee list, as well as optional fields to assign. There are 2 methods for building a PrintBoss payee list. One is to import the data from a .csv file. The other is to assign specific information directly from the accounting software and supplement it with a short payee list entry. Create a payee list using method number 1, importing a .csv file. Open the PrintBoss master application. Click on the Edit menu and choose Payee List. Click Create to start a new payee list. Enter a file name for the list. There are no requirements for the file name. And then click OK to create the list entry. Select the list you created and click the Editor button. The Payee List Browse window opens. Entries can be made one at a time in the list by clicking on the plus sign or imported from a .csv file. This section covers exporting a template to a CSV file and importing back into the payee list when completed. The first step is to create one record in the list to export the column headings. Click the plus sign to create the first record. The Payee List Edit window opens. Select Active in the top right corner and choose ACH as the payment type. Enter the first payee as it was entered in the accounting software. And then click OK to save this record. Right-click on the gears in the top left corner of the Payee List Browse grid and choose Export. PrintBoss will indicate one record is selected. Click Yes. Enter a name and location to save this file. PrintBoss will save it as a comma delimited .csv file. Navigate to the save location and open the star.csv file. Enter values in the following fields. Many of these fields are associated with the Detailed tab of the ACH File editor. Payment type. Payee. Enter the payee name as it appears in the accounting software. PrintBoss uses this field to match the payee name on the check. The variable .recip must be assigned in the PrintBoss form to match on the payee field. PrintBoss stops once it finds an exact match. Duplicates will be ignored. The default method of matching is by payee ID. This can be changed under Options Configuration at the bottom of the internal tab in PrintBoss. Payee ID. Enter an ID for this payee. If there are two or more identical names, this field is available beginning with version 5.71.6. Alternately, the payee ID can be used by PrintBoss to match an ID on the check advice. The variable .payeeID must be assigned in the PrintBoss form to match on the payee ID field. PrintBoss defaults to using the payee ID for matching. Active. Enter Y to activate this record. N denotes an inactive record. Email. Enter a payee email address for this payee if you will be using the email feature in PrintBoss to email direct deposit or EFT notifications. Alternately, the email address field can be added in the report generator from your accounting system and assigned in the PrintBoss form. Email 2. A second email field is provided if a second recipient is necessary. Payment type. The payment type is a numeric value based on the type of file selected. The values are 0, 1, 2. Payee miscellaneous. The Payee miscellaneous field is provided for any additional information for PrintBoss to retrieve and include in a file or email. Mode. Enter the mode for account 1 to determine the amount of the ACH transfer. The most common choice is 1, remainder of check, to pay the entire amount of the check. This choice requires no additional amount % entries. When % or set amount are used, remainder of check must be used on the last account. The choices are inactive, remainder of check, %, set amount. Amount percent. Enter a fixed amount or percent for account 1 for this payee. Leave blank if remainder of the check is selected for the mode. The field name for PrintBoss is ACH amount and contains 10 characters, 8 dollar places, and 2 cent places. Bank ID. Entering the routing number for account 1 for this payee. This matches the bank ID field on the payee list. The field name for PrintBoss is ACH RECV Bank ID and contains 9 characters, 8 for the routing number, and a check digit added by PrintBoss in accordance with ACH rules. Bank account number. Enter the account number for account 1 for this payee. This matches the bank account number field on the payee list. The field name for PrintBoss is ACH RECV Bank Account and contains 17 characters. Name. Copy the individual company name for payee as it appears in the payee field above. The field name is ACH RECV name and contains 22 characters. ID. Copy the individual company ID for this payee as it appears in the payee ID field above. The field name for PrintBoss is ACH RECV ID and contains 15 characters. Prenote. Only select Prenote Y if this account is added after the Prenote file has passed the bank. Print check. Preprint 1. This option is only available when Prenote is selected. The value of T is true, is entered to print a check for this Prenote. Otherwise, the value is F for false. Account type. Enter a code to identify if the account type. The field name for PrintBoss is ACH transcode and contains 2 characters. The values are 22 for checking and 32 for savings. Disk. Enter an optional 2-digit code for this account that is meaningful only to the originator. The field name for PrintBoss is ACH RECV disk, contains 2 characters, and is optional. Only enter account 2 or account 3 if the amount of the check is to be divided between more than one bank account. The last account must be set to remainder of check. Save changes to this file and click Yes to keep the features. Method 2 is for accounting software other than QuickBooks. Create a payee list using method number 2, capture payee information from accounting software. The data used to create the payee detail records for the PrintBoss ACH file comes from one of 2 places: the PrintBoss payee list, or by capturing fields on the check report and assigning that data to specific elements required by the ACH file. This section covers capturing fields on the check report and assigning that data to specific elements required to be part of the ACH file. The following fields may optionally be assigned in the form using data captured from the host on each page. If these fields are not assigned in the form, then they must be included on a corresponding payee list. For more information about capturing data and assigning variables in PrintBoss, please see the PrintBoss training note, Capturing and Assigning Text Document, document number Q1029, on our PrintBoss website, wellspringsoftware.com. PrintBoss will not create an ACH file without a payee list. Therefore, if the payee details are captured and assigned from the accounting software, a payee list must be created and maintained. Only 3 fields are required in order for the payee list to work, when the remaining fields are assigned in the PrintBoss form. These fields are active. This option must be selected to use this record. Either payee or payee ID. Enter the value PrintBoss will use to find an exact match from the check EFT batch. The value can be either alpha and/or numeric characters. For example, the vendor ID can be assigned as the payee and used to match the value in this field. The corresponding PrintBoss variable is doc recip. Similarly, the Payee ID can be assigned and used to match the Payee ID field. The corresponding PrintBoss variable is DocPayee ID. Mode: set to remainder of check for account 1. The other fields are optional and may be assigned or added to the Payee List, though they are not required. 2 fields that might need to be set in the Payee List are an account type, this is the ACH transcode, or prenote, this is the ACH prenote. Thank you so much for your interest in PrintBoss.